the Mutual Studios in Washington, I'm Fulton Lewis, and that's the top of the news as it looks from here.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the sound of suspense, to the fear you can hear. For the next 52 minutes, I'll be your companion on a journey to a place in the past. It used to be that only the mystics believed you could go back, relive your life. But didn't so eminent a scientist as Albert Einstein say that the past, the present, and the future are all intermingled somehow? Then why should we question a gentleman named Spencer Chadwick, who is asking a very vital question?
Inspector, do you believe a person can do it again?
Do what again?
Go back.
Where?
To that point in his life where it went wrong, it turned sour, and correct it.
No, I don't believe it's possible.
Well, I'm doing it, Inspector. I'm doing it. I'm changing it. I've gone back. Inspector, I've gone back.
Our mystery drama, You Can Die Again, was especially written by Sam Dan and stars Richard Mulligan. We shall return shortly with Act Two.
Do you believe in reincarnation? Do you believe the dead return? We have to believe it, because here we are, the reincarnation of radio drama. We hope you'll keep us alive.
Hey friends, if you're enjoying Mystery Theater, if you're liking Mystery Theater, if you're loving Mystery Theater, and want to access ad-free, full-length episodes instead of the multi-part version you're hearing now, you can subscribe to mysterytheater.substack.com. Again, that's mysterytheater.substack.com. You'll help keep us alive.
And so we have Spencer Chadwick in complete command, ready to take hold of his life and run it his own way, starting with his wife.
Spencer? Is that you?
There's no problem. It's not even 7:15. I can be dressed and ready to leave in 20 minutes.
Spencer, there is a problem. You made Dr. Berger look like a fool today.
You read my note. It explained everything.
You made yourself look like a fool. You admitted to the hospital, and less than an hour later, you sneaked out.
I did not sneak out. I got dressed, went to the desk, and said, I'm leaving. Send me the bill.
But, Spence, you're not well.
I've never felt better.
You should be in the hospital.
Margaret, please stop running my life.
What did you say just now, Spence?
I'm sure you heard me.
I wasn't aware that I was running your life. Spencer, would you be good enough to explain? Can you show me how?
You did say this thing was black tie?
Spencer, I'm entitled to an explanation of that remark.
Margaret, if you can't understand what I'm saying, how can I explain it?
Quite a man, this husband of yours, Miss Chadwick. Some brandy?
Yes, thank you, Senator.
We need men like you in public life, Spence. Fellas with their heads screwed on straight. You know, I have an opportunity to recommend a man for a presidential advisory commission on...
I don't think I'd be interested, Senator.
I like your style, Chadwick. You play hard to get, but you do it convincingly. The public eats that up.
No, Senator, it's not a pose. You see, sir, it seems to me that I've spent all my life working for other people.
Serving others is the most richly rewarding profession a man can follow.
That's if he happens to be a selfless person. But I never saw myself as a manufacturer of farm equipment. I wanted to study languages, the basic structures of human communication.
An admirable calling.
Margaret and I were going to leave for Tibet on a honeymoon, but my father-in-law became seriously ill. Somebody had to look after his affairs. till he could get on his feet again. That was 23 years ago. He never did get back on his feet, and I never did get out of his office.
But you transformed that little factory into the third largest enterprise.
I know, Senator, I know. I did it for my wife, my in-laws, my employees, the stockholders. But now, finally, at length and at last, I'm going into business for myself.
What sort of business?
The Spencer Chadwick business. The let's please and amuse and excite and develop and enhance Spencer Chadwick. Thank you for your offer, Senator, but there are many others who are more worthy, not to mention more willing.
Spencer, when did you decide you were no longer interested in public service?
Oh, it's been building for a while.
We'll have to talk.
Oh, about what?
About what? I don't know if this is a pose or...
Margaret, I'm sure I can explain. Now, let's drop in somewhere for a nightcap.
No, let's get home. Now, do you remember what you said to me this morning?
No.
You insist you don't recall our little scene at breakfast?
No, I'm very sorry.
You looked at me this morning, and you said, "Who are you?" You said it with sincerity and conviction. You meant it.
Look, I may have been...
You may have been what?
Daydreaming.
No, it was not daydreaming. It was wishful thinking.
Oh, Margaret, what are you saying?
Spencer, you're having an affair.
What?
Please don't deny it.
But I'm not.
It fits in with what Dr. Berger told me.
About what?
When you say to me, "Who are you?" it means you no longer want to know me. You're trying to wish me out of your life.
Oh, Margaret, I can tell you...
Now listen, Spencer, don't try to insult my intelligence or yours. And then, what just happened at Senator Satterfield's?
What just happened?
Well, suddenly you're no longer interested in public service. Why?
If you heard me talking to him, you know that finally I want to do things for me.
But he as much as offered you a post that you dreamed about. A sensitive post. And you could become an important man nationally. You've spoken about it a dozen times.
Margaret, I no longer care about it.
Well, of course not. Because you become controversial. Make enemies. And then they try to get something on you. And now that you're having an affair, you're vulnerable to scandal.
But I am not having...
Oh, don't lie to me. That just makes it worse.
But you were lying to us, Spence. We know you were lying. We know about Peggy.
Inspector.
Yes, Sergeant.
If you'll come into the bedroom, Inspector, I didn't want to move anything.
All right.
Now, sir, here are these pictures. Are these Peggy?
Are they, Spence?
Yes.
Well, sir, if you look at the hairstyle, that went out 25 years ago.
I'm no expert, but these don't look like pictures that were taken recently.
And the clothes in the closet, skirts, blouses, dresses. Are these Peggy's?
Are they, Spence?
Yes.
The styles are about 25 years old. Now, here's a label in a skirt. It's a Lydia Carter. She was a designer who was fashionable 30 years ago.
Well, Spence, tell us.
I can't.
Why can't you?
I don't think I know how.
Never mind how it sounds. Just tell us.
Martin, did you ever think you could somehow get a second chance?
To do what?
To live your life over?
To answer your question, no.
Did you ever think you could go back to a point in time when you made a decision which changed everything for you? Where you crossed your own particular Rubicon, and if you could go back, start again, and do the thing you really wanted to do?
To answer your question again, no.
That's because you never regretted the course of your life.
And you did? Are you trying to tell me that you did?
Every day for 23 years.
All right, Spence. I won't press you.
No, Marty, don't put that sympathetic tone in your voice as if you think I'm some kind of nut.
Look, you could plead insanity.
Once again, Marty, I'm not crazy.
Temporary insanity.
Not for 1 minute. I asked you a question. Can you go back? Can you live your life over again?
And I gave you my answer. No.
But you can. You can do it. I did go back. Not for long. But I did go back.
All right. All right, Spence, you did go back.
And if I hadn't lost my head, If only I hadn't killed Margaret, I could have stayed. I could have started over. Peggy, want to go to a movie?
No,
I missed the news broadcast. Anything happening?
they think a war just started.
Oh, come on, Peggy. Come on. There aren't going to be any more wars. Everybody knows that. People may be crazy, but they're not insane. Where?
I think the man said Korea. Someplace like that.
Hey, if you don't want to go to the movies, what do you want to do?
Sit home and just listen to you. Tell me about the trip you're planning.
Well, first, don't call it a trip. We may never come back. It may take all our lives.
Fine with me.
And we may never find it.
Great. What are we looking for?
The origin of language. For instance, we say brother in English. German, Dutch, Scandinavian, so on, say a form of Bruder. Same basic word. Latin, Greek, frater. The BR becomes FR. Russian, obrat. The differences are all in pronunciation.
Okay.
How did this one language spread so far and wide to cover so many different kinds of people?
Arbeit. How?
That's what I want to find out. And we will travel and study and research, and one day, maybe,
Maybe what?
this Indo-European language, it's only one of 30 language families, at one time, was there one single language, the mother of all?
Was there?
I don't know. One day, I hope to find out. Are you sure you wouldn't mind scrounging around Europe and Asia?
Oh, I've been to Europe and Asia.
But not with a backpack, not with a sleeping bag.
I'm going to love it.
Now, one thing must be clearly understood. At no time, regardless of the bind we may find ourselves in, shall we ever, under any circumstances, wire your father for money. Promise?
I promise.
Hello, Margaret.
Where have you been, Spencer? Oh, excuse me. I hope that doesn't sound shrewish.
Well, no, it doesn't.
Or as if I'm trying to run your life.
Please, Margaret, cut it out.
The reason I ask is because I had prepared dinner.
I know. Didn't you get my message?
Yes, I did. I got it at 8. Meanwhile, at 7, the Millers, the Brownsteins, and the Gladwells arrived. No, the Gladwells were here at 6:30.
But why?
You had asked me to invite them to dinner, and these are your friends, Spencer.
I'm sorry, Margaret. I'm sorry.
Yes. Well, if they were people I like, I would have been humiliated. This way, I was merely embarrassed. But I got through the evening, somehow. Spencer, tell me, who is she?
Margaret, believe me, there is no...
I start with the premise that it's my fault. Somewhere I must have failed you. I've gone wrong. But I don't know where, and I don't know how. Tell me, Spence. Tell me.
Margaret, please, Margaret.
Please, Margaret, what? Oh, Spencer, I've been happy. You've been happy. Our marriage, it's been the envy of so many of our friends. Oh, darling, has it been a lie? Have we been living a lie all these years?
Do you want the answer?
I demand an answer.
The answer is yes, it's been a lie.
Who is she, Spence? Who is she?
Who is she, Spencer? Who is Peggy?
I won't tell you, Martin.
I should say, who was Peggy?
Inspector, do you remember some time ago you saw Mrs. Chadwick? It was on business, I remember.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do. It had to do with a burglary, Spence. A burglary in your house. Believe me, Margaret, this is no bother at all.
You see, I felt if I called the local precinct, I'd have police traipsing all about the place. It just isn't worth it.
Well, what happened?
It's silly, but, well, you know us. We never throw anything out. It's a sound idea. The worthless junk of yesterday has suddenly become expensive antiques. It's incredible.
Yes, Margaret.
All right, I'll be brief. We have a storage space where we keep old things, clothes, knickknacks, stuff that you say you'll throw out sometime. You never get around to it. You never do.
And?
Well, it's all been stolen.
Stolen?
It's missing. Well, it must have been stolen. I don't care about it, but it's just unnerving to consider that the house has been broken into.
We'll send a list of the stuff to Sergeant Milrow.
It's not important, but I feel that since a crime has been committed, it should be reported. Did I do the right thing?
Of course you did, Margaret. That list. I gave you that list, Sergeant.
It's on my desk, sir. I'm sure most of the items in this closet were on it.
Spencer, you were the burglar.
Technically, yes. She needed clothes, Marty.
That girl, she's a fantasy.
No, not Peggy.
All right, look, for reasons that I may never understand, you feel you wasted your life. So you fantasized a way to go back, to start over.
It was no fantasy.
Sergeant
The
O'Rourke.
hell it wasn't. You were sorry you married Margaret. Which all by itself proves that you're insane, Spence. You created this Peggy, and you had to dress her in a period of 25 years ago. There is no Peggy. This whole thing happened in your mind.
Yes, thank you, Lieutenant.
Yes, Sergeant?
Sir, that was from the lab. They scraped some grass samples from the skirt in the closet, and it's been identified as Duke of Wentworth fescue.
All right.
It's a new kind of seed, just been planted for the first time.
When?
Well, about a month ago, which means somebody wearing this skirt was sitting in the grass in Benton Park very recently.
You figure if a man's been married for 23 years, he may have a tendency to fantasize a bit. But Spencer Chadwick has created more than an illusion. He has brought forth flesh and blood, particularly blood. We'll be back shortly with Act 3.
Do you believe in reincarnation? Do you believe the dead return? We have to believe it, because here we are, the reincarnation of radio drama. We hope you'll keep us alive.
Hey friends, if you're enjoying Mystery Theater, if you're liking Mystery Theater, if you're loving Mystery Theater, and want to access ad-free full-length episodes instead of the multi-part version you're hearing now, you can subscribe to mysterytheater.substack.com. Again, that's mysterytheater.substack.com. You'll help keep us alive.
Come back tomorrow for Act 3.
Our cast included Richard Mulligan, Mandel Kramer, Marion Seldes, Bryna Rayburn, and Gil Mack. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Now, a preview of our next tale.
You know what I'm going to do, Laurie? I am going to turn this car right around and head back to the city.
Oh, no, George. Please don't.
What's that? You hear something like singing? Let me open the window.
It's a woman singing that old nursery rhyme. We all fall down.
But what's that snapping sound? It sounds like a piece of leather. It sounds like a whip.
George, what are you doing?
I'm getting out.
No, don't leave me, George. I'm coming with you. Wait.
Okay, but stay close to me.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
What's that snapping sound?
George. No, don't leave me. No, wait.
Okay, stay close to me.